Go Beaver! Away!
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Critscast. There is no games tonight, no action, but we have plenty of discussion as we are going to be talking about the awards for the best players of the most recent season, season 22 of Premiership Highlander. And I'm joined by an array of talent. You can see, look at all their cheery faces, how excited they are to be here. I mean, these gamers get excited to play Highlander, but when it comes to talking about Highlander, even they reach the stratosphere in levels of hype, as you can see. I'm CeeJaey, and I'm joined by Buck824, who is a representative of Envision somewhat, but also will be doing a lot of discussion as a caster as well. Over the next one is Kosuke. As you can see there, played most recently for, you can tell me the name. That was it. That is our representative. On the bottom left, representing the only Russian team, is the only non-Russian player from that team. We have Cloudy, who played for Kitty this season. Next along, I mean, needs no introduction. It is Clerk of the Season. Will he be retaining his Clerk of the Season award, representing the champions SCCK? And lower right, we have our resident admin, Sodium, who'll be the one revealing the winners of all the awards to us tonight. None of us know. None of us have no idea who won. Sodium has all the answers. Well, season. If you didn't see it, then a quick recap. Season 22 happened. I think we can get a look at the tables thanks to Wiethoofd's cheeky little button presses. We can see who finished where. We had 6 teams this season. Unfortunately, at the bottom of the table were former finalists, Failer Esports, who picked up some points late on in the season, but were unable to come out of the relegation zone. Next highest were the Pizza Police, Ugandan Pizza Police, finishing in 5th place, followed by Kitty up in 4th, just missing out on those playoffs places. And then the top 3 who reached playoff were Wiethoofd in 3rd place. They did finish 3rd and then did get knocked out in the semi-finals. Playing in the final was SCCK and Envision. And in the end, SCCK did win another final. And they were crowned champions after the season. So that is what happened with regards to playing. And obviously, there are a lot of individuals who made up the talent of the players in those teams. And we're going to be giving out some awards. So each award will be for each specific class, so Scout to Spy. And then we'll have 3 different awards, one for Caster, one for Debut, that is the player who has done the best in their first ever season playing in Prem. And then finally MVP, which goes without saying is the best player overall for the season. Enough of me talking. I'm bored. I want these guys to throughout the throughout the very, very calm and relaxed discussion, we're going to start off with Scout of the Season. It is the number 1, and Sodium is going to tell us who was nominated and who won.
All right, so for Scout of the Season, we have 3 nominees, being Lanzer, Tumas, and May.
There's only one there who I think really should win it, because he was actually impactful. May. You could argue Tomas was really impactful for Wiethoofd, the Tomas Mac combo, but I think overall May was probably the most impactful for SDCK out of those 3.
And May also sort of knows when to go with the combo. I keep saying this every time I talk about May, but he's one of those scouts that sort of just is always there for the Ubers, and if you've got a scout like that, it's just always good, pretty much. Lanza and Thomas, they've got the great DM. And they have done a lot of work, especially Lanza, maps like Warmtick and stuff like that. But my vote was with May for this, despite all the DM aspects.
I think Tomas had more impact for VVV than May had for us, but it's not because May is a worse scout or Tomas is a better scout. It's the way their team was set up. VVV, they played around their scout a lot, and that's why he was able to show everything he was capable of. Prem 6 experience as well.
May was definitely, I thought, was the smartest in terms of Highlander. You just always knew where to go, at the right spot and stuff. Okay,
well, Sodium, I think it's time. Which one of those 3 was the winner?
All right, so starting from the bottom, coming in 3rd is May with 23% of the votes. Lanzer with 28% of the votes comes in 2nd, and Tumas wins it pretty big by 48% of the votes.
May finishing below Lancer. Okay,
that's wild.
Interesting. Interesting. The fact that he came last is a bit disappointing, considering he was in the winning team. But
both the Lanzer and Tumas have their 6s following. Lanzer coming in with debut of the season last season as well.
But I was just going to say, I think like obviously the 6s following is always the answer that we give out. But I think when you actually look at sort of statistics wise, at least in the games that I casted and saw, generally Lanzer and Tomas were at the top of sort of the board in terms of getting kills. So they were the really big parts of their team that fragged hard during the games, whereas May was not always up there. Maybe, you know, other players on SDCK were the ones getting more kills. And maybe that's the reason. Maybe he got overshadowed by his teammates, whereas Tomas and Lanza were generally always the highest fraggers, but that might not be true. I didn't obviously look at every single game. Well, there we go. May finishing third, Lanza in second, and then way out in front was Tomas as scout of the season for season 22. But Sodium, do you want to lead us on to Soldier?
Yeah, no problem. For Soldier, we have 4 nominees, being Hugo, Jackie Legs, DQZ, and TK.
Hugo played for Fela last season, if I'm not mistaken, right? Because he's been around for quite a while, and I think he's been one of the better soldiers, at least to play against.
The flank of Hugo and Tomas, especially because his experience is really hard to play against. I think that definitely brought a lot to Vinny Vinci. But I think Jackie Legs probably win this as well, just because of how good he is.
Yeah, my vote was with Jackie Legs. I mean, again, I just think he's, when he needs to turn up, he turns up, and he's consistent. He's got good comms, and like if you can have that other flank that's able to coordinate. But I mean, TK's done some really good plays, and it's been good to see him play. I've actually been surprised. It's been a joy to actually cast his games that he's in. So he's been doing really well. And yeah, like you said, with Hugo Six's experience, I think he's definitely brought some DM there. But I think, yeah, these are all worthy soldiers to be fair in these top 4.
I actually think Turek should have been put up for this, having his first season in Prem, decent level. He sort of flew under the radar, I think, able to do everything for us, and he like really held up the flank on our end really well. So I think he was a bit robbed of a nomination.
Let's see where this goes.
Yeah, 4 nominations. So I'm going to imagine a bigger split when it comes to the votes. But Sodium, which one was the one that came out on top?
Yeah, you're not wrong on that. So coming in 4th is TK, followed by Hugo, and Jackie Leg takes it for the 7th consecutive time.
Let's go.
DQZ.
Lucky number 7. What's it like with the? What was it actually last season with Jackie Clark? 'Cause I know he's quite a big. He's a vocal player.
He has been a big part of this team for as long as he played for us. Ever since the first season he started playing for us, season 13, he was a big part of it, of our success. So I'm always happy when he wins.
Actually surprises me that Hugo was quite far down in terms of the percentages. He would be in the right position at the right time, which is something that Jackie brings to like every game. That is a huge difference between someone who's just good at DM and someone who knows where to be when you're attacking, like which areas to deny and stuff. So I'm surprised. I thought it would have been a lot closer between those top 3. But yeah, Jackie, huge. Over a third of the votes. No more discussion. You guys admit Jackie Legs is the best. That's it. We move on to Pyro. And Sodium, I think, is going to have an interesting time reading out the nominees.
So we do have 3 nominees again on Pyro, being Strono, Yahoo, and Grip.
I thought it was interesting, before you guys start talking, Fela Esports Grip there, finished at the bottom of the table. Usually we see the top 3 nominees being one of the top 3 teams, top 4, but despite finishing bottom, did manage to get into the list of nominees there.
I don't understand that, really. I mean, in fairness, Pyro is a pretty difficult class to stand out on.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the reason, I think Yahoo and Sterno especially deserve their nominations because Sterno as a Pyro mechanically is just really solid. And then you have Yahoo, obviously, who's just all-round really good Pyro. Probably the best since Steve, to be honest. My
first interaction ever with Sterno was actually at Deutschland 4 years ago. And he managed to, get a reflect pipe onto Ali on steel, and we were just losing it at how he managed to just get this insane reflect kill. And I remember after the game, everyone was like, "Yo, you're the Pyro that got that insane reflect," and yeah, he's still doing it to this day. Sodium reflects damage. Doesn't matter which one won the final award.
So coming in third is Grip, followed by Strodo and Yahoo taking it home for the 6th time in a row as well. Only one behind trailing one behind Jackie.
Nice.
Fair enough.
Overall,
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
Is that as far as the discussion goes? Fair enough.
Well, Yahoo just does all this stuff that other pyros don't really do, like all the jetpack jumps. Like Fridge was trying a lot of the jetpack jumps, and he was getting a lot of success with it. But in terms of consistency, Yahoo is just up there, like far above everyone else, getting it done. And like it's to the point where worrying about spies and things like that isn't really even a thought when you're with him on your team. He's just super solid in all the basic aspects that let him sort of do whatever he wants.
Yeah, he's got the game sense really at this point, and like I guess with the fact that he's been playing with STCK for so long, just kind of enables him to do that as well, and he's just able to do his job like as he should be. But yeah, I mean, good points about Strono. Like when you play with Strono, like you feel like Soldier's just like a nonchalant class, like it doesn't exist. Like it just gets every single rock, and you're just like, how is this man doing this? So yeah, but I mean the percentages are actually relatively close. Grip getting a decent percentage as well. So. Yeah, I guess that's part of the season.
Yeah, it's actually less than 6% between Strono and Yahoo there, so maybe other pyros closing the gap. We'll have to see if other players can step up in the future seasons. But we have one more Sixes class, I guess. Sixes dominated class, I suppose I should say, to talk about, which is of course the Demoman, Sodium, who was voted or nominated, I should say, for Demoman of the season.
So for Demoman, we have Murphy, Joan, and Stan.
This is an interesting one to me
Uh,
because all three of those are really powerhouse demos. Like as well, when you have Joe and Stan, they're like the
Titans.
proper powerhouses of their team. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Murphy, a bit more of a team player, I would say. Like the team's not totally reliant on him to do work. But when it comes to Stan and Joe,
I will say with Murphy, see his like because I've played with him before, and sometimes he's had a bit of a temperament or been a bit impatient. But I think with SDCK, they've like managed to kind of tone it down a bit and get him into playing like the sort of potential demo that he could do, and it's really good to see. And he has played very well this season, I would have to admit. But yeah, Stan and Joe, like you say, the powerhouses. Stan has done so much work for Envision, like way more than I thought he would have done. Like he's just hitting like pretty much every single iron bomber pipe, and he like extends and then just somehow lives after he extends and then comes back. Like I don't know how he does it. It's just kind of mental.
So the thing about Murphy is that when we picked him up, like I got a lot of surprise messages by people saying like, is he really gonna be your main demo now? But as long as he has like a team that supports him, playing around him, he's a really, really good demo. One of the better ones in Prom, honestly.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, I remember a long time ago, I think it's about season 10 or 11, Murphy murked for us a number of times and in an official as well, for strong opinions. And he clearly had the really good DM ability, his pipes, or he seemed to land, you know. And I feel like open squad for a number of seasons, he was always the standout player. Like Cloudy said, you know, the powerhouse of the team. I think that's the way he was for open squad, and maybe now in SCCK it's toned down a little bit, and now it's more teamwork. But yeah, I think Stan and Joe play so similarly in that they just get the heals and walk forward until either everything else is dead or they're dead, and it just seems kind of like the teams do revolve around them quite a lot.
Yeah, there's one quick thing. This I noticed that Murphy actually had top KD as well in these charts. I mean, shout out to Ajay for putting these things together and compiling it. But yeah, it just seems to play sort of a bit more with the team there and just living. And if you have a demo that lives, in my opinion, is a lot more worth.
Absolutely. If you're alive, you can you have more time to win.
What were we going to say, Kosuke?
I think you do have to mention that Mac didn't get nominated.
I was just about to say that, yeah.
He was so good this season. I'm really surprised he didn't get nominated.
Interesting. Well, we'll have to see which one of the ones that did get nominated won. Sodium, do you want to do the honors?
Yep, I'll start it off with the third place, as per usual, being Murphy. And then in a very close first place, Joe takes it. Just above Stan.
Ooh.
I'm actually surprised Murphy didn't win that, to be honest. Like,
probably the impact from crits, maybe, on Joe. It's more noticeable.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's strange seeing a player who finished last. At least his team finished last, winning this award. But
he does almost like carry those sometimes. I will admit he can just power through. It's crazy.
Yeah, I've got nothing else on that one. It's surprising. I think Murphy's probably the hardest one to deal with in an actual game because he's not quite as like far forward as Joe and Stan play. But yeah, weird.
Harder to pick off, sort of thing. Fair enough.
There we go. Joe winning. Do you know what number that is for him, Sodium?
That is his fourth win, actually, in total.
There we go. Demo of the season goes to Joe from Failer. On to the Pootis class, heavy of the season. Do you want to hit us with the nominees?
No problem. We again have 3 nominees, being Bartis, Poker, and Pijaka.
Thoughts? Interesting to see Pijaka here, actually.
I think Pahan could easily have been nominated as well. To be honest, Pahan was a beast. He's
really. Wait, you think he's taken to heavy like pretty well?
Yeah,
I'm
Pahan absolutely slams on heavy. Yeah. He's unreal. He's always just doing crazy shit.
It's so surprising to me that Pahan was able to step up like that from medic to heavy, but he is actually a pretty good heavy. Like, I don't know if he deserves a nomination like you say he does, but I think he's a good heavy.
Can't really tell. But anyway, yeah, Barthis and Kosuke as well being there. Barthis, I think, yeah, he's gone through good transformations. I remember, like, I sort of pointed out a few things on certain maps, and like he's definitely fitted in with the vision really well. He's smart with his positions. He gets good DM. He fights when he needs to. But I think my vote was with the Poker again, just because. I mean, it's Poker. I think he did really good this season as well. Doing what he normally does.
I do want to say Pijaka really surprised me. He's at Mercury's in UGC the past few weeks. And like I don't think he played like Premier Team before. He's actually really good and his comms are quite nice as well.
Oh, can you speak English?
As well. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
The thing about Poker is that he doesn't need any heals. He never asks for them. He just plays like it doesn't mean that he doesn't play on the team. He just doesn't need heals as much as some other heavies do. He just can go on a rampage just by flanking or just by staying in one position. And I think that's a very important trait to have as a heavy because it's such a slow class, such a hard class to make an impact without heals, and he manages to do that anyway.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think Poker easily the most impactful heavy right now.
We'll have to see if he was impactful enough in the vote. Sodium, which one of those 3 gamers won heavy of the season?
So starting it off from third is Pijaka, and Poker winning it with quite a good margin over Bartis. I think the community agrees with what you guys said here. It's also his 4th win in a row. Congratulations.
Congrats.
Deserve that.
Fair play.
51%, that's quite a lot. I think that's the most we've seen so far today.
The whole Russian community.
The whole of Russia is voting for Poker. Easy.
Well, I think we said it all earlier on there, but Poker, I think that's the biggest margin so far. I think that beats Tomas's 40-odd% from earlier. So dominating the vote, 51.2%. Poker is your heavy of the season. On to engineer of the season, the building man, Sodium. Who were the nominees?
For nominees, we have Honjo, Kyrique, and the man himself, Clark.
I'm really happy for Kyrique because I know how much he tries, how much he tries to improve, because he always watches demos, always tries to come up with new strats. So the fact that he got nominated in his first season in Prime, I think it's really good. I'm really happy for him.
Yeah, big shout out to Kyrique. So I met him at LAN. He's a really great guy. And yeah, he's definitely improved. I think he's worthy of being up here. Definitely for VVV, he's done a lot of work. But Honjo has put in so much damage this season. I think he has done so much work. Almost carrying Failure at some point, especially on some like payload maps. So big ups to Honjo. But obviously we've got Clark in here as well. So repping the engineer class.
Yeah, I don't know. This is like probably the one category where I don't know who's going to win this. To be fair, I haven't been right on most of my predictions, but still, I don't like these 3 people are so evenly matched, but also have their own quirks that it's really hard to choose who had the most impact. To be honest, They were really good.
Sodium, which community came out on top in the voting this time?
All right, taking it from third is Kyrie coming in third, and Clark winning it. Just not a big margin, but a decent margin over Hunter. Congratulations.
Oh,
Good season.
how many seasons is that in a row now?
That's a third in a row, but 8 in total.
8 in total.
8 in a row.
Jesus.
Oh, very impressive, Clark. Well done.
Yeah, rigged in the chat. There we go.
Yeah,
you're next.
You've started a revolution, Clark. Look what you've done. Leading the team as well. Not just playing in the team. Obviously, he's the engineer. So, and you've been playing for ages. And impact's always there. But yeah, big ups on Joe. I think Kareem probably could have done with more votes, in fairness, to make it a bit closer. But yeah, I'm not surprised to see Honjo have that many percentage of the votes because some of his plays were very impactful.
Well, there we go. Clark of the season goes to Clark this season. Again, 46.5% of the vote. Clearly, some of the Russian community supported poker seemed to veer off a little bit there, not quite hitting the 50%. But yeah, Clark is going to be winning Engineer of the Season this time around. And next class is, it's the most talented class in the game. I think everyone can agree. It is the one that takes the most skill. Of course, Sodium, it is the Medic class. Can you tell us who the nominees were?
Yeah, so for Medic, we're returning to 4 nominees, being Sebastiani, Jorge, Leila, and Degu.
Ooh, interesting to see Seb up here. I do think Seb is worthy of a nomination. He has come a long way as well. He's always very impactful. Probably one of the more impactful Pizza Please players, in my opinion. But for me, Gedu was making some misplays when I was casting him. I don't know if that was just because of complacency or something, but he's still okay and still doing what he does for SDCK. But Jorge, for me, gets my vote because he just absolutely outshines. He always lives, and you need that in a medic, in my opinion.
So the only reason I want Jorge to win over Gedu is because I know how mad Gedu gets when I'm talking about Jorge being good. He's like, no, he's not good. Look at this. Look at this. He's not good.
Insecurity.
Nah, I'm just kidding.
I think Boshi is actually worth a mention in this. I'm not saying he's definitely worth a nomination, but he had to step into the medic role in the very last second for Kitty. Yeah. And all things considered, he did a really good job for us, I think. He brought a lot to the team on medic in the same way that Pahan did on heavy. He put in equal performances in scrims to the other paramedics. So I think he did a really good job.
Well, 4 players. I imagine it's going to be a similar split of the vote this time around, Sodium.
Exactly. We actually have only 13 votes between third and first. So starting it off in fourth is Sebastiani. Coming in third is Leila. Jorge being second, and Degu bringing it home for the 3rd time in a row. That is Medic of the Season. Congratulations.
I'm sorry, did you say 13 votes different?
13 votes between... Leila had 122 and Degu had 135.
Wow.
Jesus.
Wow. That's pretty close.
Really close, yeah.
That is surprisingly close, yeah. Yeah, congrats to Gedu winning it out. But yeah, kind of surprising. Yeah, very close votes there. I thought Jorge might have took that, but yeah, there we go.
Yeah, I feel Jorge is one of those players that he always seems to stay alive. I haven't looked at the stats, so I'm not sure what the deaths per minute is in comparison. I'm sure someone can tell me, but I always feel like Jorge is always, despite how bad a situation, that his team gets into, he always seems to escape and make sure he stays alive, which is a big reason as why Envision get these advantages and it really helps the team. Oh, well, there we go. Gedu, or as he was known during the season, Catgirl, is winner of Medic of the Season for the 3rd time in a row. Very, very close. 13 votes between the top 3. We'll have to see if the next class is going to be that close. Sniper, Sodium, who are the sharpshooters nominated this time around?
All right. So for Sniper, we once again have 4 nominees, being Kazarok, Fundo, Stinghan, and Cloudy.
Is it Fundo's first nomination? Does anybody know that? Because he's been around the block for a while now. But
debut, I think
it's his first season in Prem, right?
Yeah, it is his first season in Prem, yeah.
Is it from debut, do you know, Sodium?
He was nominated by a couple teams, but didn't make the final.
Okay. Fair enough.
He just put on insane all season, especially in the qualifiers and stuff. I think he dropped 63 frags in one map.
Yeah, he's like the next. His Finnish as well. God, all these Finnish snipers, man. They got Ollie, Fundo, Carfi, Jesus. Just add him to the pile. But yeah, he's worthy of nomination. I think seeing him play, he just kind of has that impact. Another kind of under the radar player, I think.
It's really closely contested this season, I think, with snipers. There aren't many who really, really stand out. Like if a sniper's team's performing poorly, in most cases this season, then the sniper would have a terrible performance as well. It's not like anybody was just putting the team on their back and carrying them.
I just want to say that Claudia mentioned that if the team doesn't perform well, the snipers don't either. Like at least that season in the last season. But I'm looking at your stats, Claudia, and I'm looking at Fundos, and they're very similar, and they're only second best to Kazas. So obviously you broke that. You broke that thing that you
broke my own rule.
Yeah,
Well,
you broke your rule.
Oh no.
Well, I think one thing that's interesting is there's 3 players that have won Sniper of the Season before, Stingen, Kazarok, and Cloudy. 2 of them are Prem winners, multiple Prem winners. Stingen obviously final many times and has won the Nations Cup with Poland. And then you have Fundo in his first season is being sort of nominated. Enough people nominated him that there was enough for 4 nominees. So must be a good feeling to be put up with big names. But in terms of who won Sodium, what was the ranking?
The ranking here is coming in 4th, Stingen. Coming in 2nd, Kazarok. And Fundo winning it.
No
by 4
way.
votes
Whoa.
over Cloudy.
Wait, what?
Congratulations.
He just
That's wild.
Wow.
It is his first win, but it is the 3rd Finn consecutively to win the Sniper of the Season.
Oh my
he definitely
god.
deserved it, though. He was absolutely insane the whole season.
Takes Coffee's place, man.
So-
The Finns rocking it.
I'd just like to say, mention it, that the snipers who played in the final, ODFL, they finished 3rd and 4th.
That's nuts. I'm surprised Kazarok came 3rd. Yeah, that's wild.
Close between Cloudy
I
and
don't know,
Fundo,
man.
to be fair, as well. Like what 1% in that as well.
That's 4
Jesus.
votes. The Finnish community coming through.
Yeah, Finnish community
Entirety of
coming.
Finland.
I don't know what to say. If you can be Sniper of the Season but not nominated for debut. Interesting. Well, there we go. So what I said beforehand, saying that 3 huge names, former champions, massive previous Sniper of the Season, just fall by the wayside to Fundo winning it with what you say 4 votes there, Sodium, between the top 2.
And as Wiet points out in chat, it's not even the closest vote of the evening.
Well, there we go. There we go. That's ominous. Spy of the Season is going to be the next one for us to discuss. Sodium, who are the nominees for that?
We have 4 people nominated here for the Sneaky Frenchman, being Sneaky, Unforgiven, Swoops, and Mezzo. Some old faces, some new faces.
Another 4 nominations. That's an interesting point. Sneaky and Unforgiven. I don't know. Is this the first time Sneaky's played Prem?
Yes, actually, that's very interesting because he's been around the scene for a really long time. Like he subbed for SDCK in season 10 when we were still in high, 2016.
Jesus.
And since then he's been murking and playing for Prem teams for a long time, but he never actually had a Prem official on his account, and that was actually his first season. So I'm really happy that he got nominated.
Yeah, I mean, took the plunge to actually get a season in, and ended up sort of getting some worth out of it, I suppose.
Yeah, he's been around for a long time. I remember playing against him in the Nations Cup 4 years ago or something, and even before that, like playing Highlander, he's been around for a long time. I honestly thought he'd played Prem before, so interesting to hear. And again, Unforgiven, they're another representative for Fela who finished bottom of the table, but he still manages to get a nomination. So clearly, put in some good numbers.
Like, I mean, my emotion was with Mezzo. Again, almost carrying SDCK at times, has really good comms. I think he had like the top kills per minute or something as well. But yeah, I think all these spies are still worthy of this nomination. Spies putting in the work from Vision as well, on occasion as well.
I think Nebula should have received a nomination because for as long as I can remember, he's been a pain in my ass to deal with as an NG. And I can't say the same thing about either Swipes or any other nominations.
As an NG, add to that playing against Mezzo also isn't a fun thing, but yeah, you obviously
Nebula. Yeah, for at least for NGs, he's really a big problem. to deal with.
It's always an interesting perspective, actually, because, playing Medic for a long time, I knew which spies I preferred to play against, or, you adjust your play style, but maybe there are spies who prefer to hassle the NGs. They want to get some sapping going on. We'll have to see which one of these 4 was deemed the best of the season overall. Sodium, do you want to give us the rankings?
Yep, there we go. Sneaky coming in 4th, followed by Swoops, closely followed by Unforgiven and Mezzo, thus winning. Congratulations.
Hey.
Yeah, overall deserved, I think.
Yeah, I think that's very deserved. Mezzo doesn't really get talked about that much anymore, I don't think. But he's just really, really solid in everything. Really consistent.
He won Player of the Season twice before. That's how much impact he had. He won Player of the Season while playing for Open Squad, which finished 3rd. So
yeah, it is his 4th in a row and his 7th award in total. So that also counts in his Player of Season awards.
It's just a powerhouse spy, really, and it's just a name that's been around as well for a very long time. Just first DCK and just in the class in general, helping out a load of people. Good guy to talk with as well. So I think it's definitely well deserved. And Unforgiven coming in 2nd, close between Swoops and Unforgiven there as well.
It's, 2 votes.
Jesus, yeah. So basically coming in the same.
Well, there we go. That finishes our lineup for the players of the season, all the individual classes. So we'll do a quick recap before we move on to the final 3. So our Scout of the season was Thomas. Soldier of the season was Jackie Legs. Pyro of the season was Yahoo. Demo of the season was Joan. Heavy of the season, Poker. Engineer of the season was Clark. Medic of the season, Gedu. Sniper of the season was Fundo, and Mezzo was Spy of the season. We have 3 more awards to go. We won't do much discussion for the next one because it's Caster of the season. But Sodium, do you want to give us the nominations for the Talkers of the season?
Yep. So for the 3 nominations for Caster, we have 2 people present, being Buck and CeeJaey, and the 3rd one is Lucky.
Downtown was dropped.
Did he do? I can't remember if he did any TF2 on one point.
He does a lot on his Twitch stream. That's about
he does do a lot. So yeah, big shout out to Dumpton for doing that, especially the lower divisions, getting that sort of awareness, I guess, of the others. So, but yeah,
I think in terms of nominations, it's done by who did the most games for casts in terms for Crits Cast. I think that's how. I don't think there's any a nomination process.
That's correct.
Sodium, what was the ranking for Caster of the season?
Coming in 3rd is Lucky, followed by Buck. So CeeJaey taking home his 2nd win in a row now after season 19. Eckstein won that one, so that broke your combo.
Let's go, CeeJaey.
Congrats, CeeJaey.
Thank you. Yeah.
Also, a shout out to Lucky as well, by the way, coming in to save some time when I think I couldn't make one of the casts, and he's great to cast with.
Yeah, I was going to say I love casting with Buck and Lucky. It's really fun to have people that you can sort of bounce off and play, or not play, talk with, I suppose. Yeah, so I'm always excited when it's one of those boys to be able to talk about the game, because it's just a nice kind of, it turns less from casting and more into
a convo.
Just a convo, just chatting about some Highlander, which obviously we all love. That's why we're here. But enough about the non-playing ones. We have 2 more awards to go, and these are not class specific. These are debut of the season and MVP. So debut of the season is the players nominated that had their first Prem season. So Sodium, who are the nominees?
For debut of the season, we have Nutricula, Unforgiven, and Swoops, seeing 2 of the Spy nominees coming back here.
Interesting that Nutricula didn't get voted for Sniper, but gets voted for debut.
So Fundo won Sniper of the season, but didn't get voted for debut. The Nutricula didn't get voted for Sniper. Does
It's a bit strange, yes. I think, I don't know, maybe Cloudy has, we can say something about this, but I think Nutricula's biggest problem is his inconsistency, because at his best, he's absolutely insane. I saw him get 70, even 72, I think, kills per game at times, but he's really inconsistent, in my opinion, and that's his only problem.
I 100% agree with that. Yeah, one game in every 3 or 4 or 5, he'll just play out of his mind, and you'll think he's hacking. Then, the next few games you'll play against him, he just does nothing. But I feel like with time, even though he's been around for a long time, but he's at a point now where, give him like 1 or 2 more seasons, he's going to be right at the top.
Yeah, I would agree with that as well. When I've seen him or play with him, he can perform. It's kind of just that thing of like finding your mojo sometimes in the times, especially when you're playing sniper and you just like maybe you start off the game poorly and it kind of just sets the tempo for the rest of the game. So, it is what it is. But interesting seeing, well, yeah, all assassin classes actually for the Premier debut of the season. So obviously seeing the impact, I guess.
Just have to say, apparently Fundo did not have his debut this season. I've been misinformed. Whichever one of you said it was his first. Apparently Fundo this is his second season of playing in Prem, so that's why he wasn't eligible for debut.
Oh, so he probably played in season 21, right?
He played in season 21. Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
So everything is all right with the world. We understand the nominations again. We're all on the same page. But yeah, Sodium, do you want to let us know which one of these was voted for debut of the season?
Yep, no problem. This was definitely the closest spread we've had out of all votes. So Nutricula coming in third. Unforgiven winning it with 2 votes over Swoops.
Ooh.
Jeez.
Battle of the Spies.
All these
Battle
votes
of
have
the
been so
Spy.
close. like.
Interesting to know that Swoops had 2 votes less in the spy vote as well. So
Wow. Close.
So
Yeah.
just so that my heart can like calm down a little bit after what Wiethoofd said earlier, this is the closest vote, right? We're not going to have like one that's going to be 1 vote different later on.
I don't know if I can give that
One
away.
vote
Ooh. There is only 1 vote left, so
I'm giving, I think, Prem and also Swatch coming to Prem debuting. Like they have pulled their weight. Like I said, I hadn't heard of Unforgiven really until recently, and he just comes up with these plays out of nowhere. It ends up being like some mid backstabs oftentimes. It just kind of pulls the round or like the end of the round for the team. So I think it's definitely deserved.
There we go. Interesting to see 2 of the nominees finishing in the playoffs this season. It's not always something we see with debut. Generally, the top 3 teams have more experienced lineups, I should say, perhaps. So 2 of them reaching the playoffs in their first ever season. But we now have the big one, of which apparently there are only 2 nominees. So it is a straight head-to-head battle. Sodium, who are the nominations for MVP?
So first of all, we'd only have 2 nominees because the third place was a 7-way tie between Mezzo, Kazarok, Jackie Legs, Barties, Cloudy, Fundo, and Hugo. So congrats to those guys for tying it up in with 1 nomination. There was no way to separate you guys and have a third nominee, unfortunately.
Yeah, so I actually have a small bone to pick with ETF2L admins here because I think the way we nominate best players should be changed a little bit because the way it works right now, I don't think any of SCCK players were nominated in the last 4 or 5 seasons just because like other captains, they vote for several of our players and none of them get enough votes to be in the top 2 or top 3. So it's a bit strange, I think.
Well, I was more surprised the fact that, like, I mean, I guess you could just have a big list. Like, you arguably could just include these people in there as well and just have all of them as the third nomination. But I guess you don't really want a massive spreadsheet of all the votes and stuff.
No, I just find it strange that the best team doesn't have a representative in the best player category. That's it. That's it. I'm not molding. Well, I am a little bit.
Fair. 3 of the 7 players are your players, so they all got 1 nomination from either yours or another team.
I mean, the way you could look at it is that different teams have problems against different players. Maybe one of the teams, thinks Mezzo is your best player, whereas another team thinks Jackie Legs is your best player, etc. Like, I think because you have a lot of players that do well on their classes, it's different sort of experiences for each team, and that they all think a different player stands out. I can't think of another explanation. I'm not an admin, so I don't have to worry about it. Sodium, our admin, can tell us who were the 2 nominees that did actually get nominated.
The 2 actually nominated people are Tumas and Joan.
All right, what's our opinions on these 2 for MVP? Yeah, I think Joe takes this because of impact. Thomas has definitely done well, but I mean, and he did win Scout, didn't he, earlier as well? So.
Yeah, he did landslide Scout a bit. I don't know what we're going to see, but I think Joe deserves it just because he has this habit of putting together a roster of people nobody knows and still sort of competing and
Yeah,
staying competitive throughout the season.
True.
So I think that's why he's there.
You just try to show like even like this season, he just carries so hard to any team he's on. You can just give him like 600 bots and just have him and Leia, and he'd probably do the same.
It's like crazy what he can just do with Layla and like just a decent team behind him. So yeah, I guess big ups to Joe just to sort of achieve some of these things.
Well, Sodium is the one who holds all the cards. He has the answers, and he can tell us which one of these gamers was the best player of the season.
Well, this is pretty straightforward. There have been only 2 nominees. Tumas wins MVP with about 56% of the votes.
Ooh.
Congrats.
I was going to say that was a big percentage, but there is only 2, so I don't think that really counts.
Yeah, Thomas was really sick for Veni Vidi Vici, to be fair to him. There were times where he put the whole team on his back. Considering his lack of experience as well in Highlander, he's played really, really well.
Yeah, he's it's just I think it's just like if you can have that DM, and it's just a matter of kind of trying to morph the DM with the game sense of the team and the calls and stuff. So I think he's tried his best, and it kind of shows in his gameplay and some of his stats as well. So I think it's definitely sort of deserving to be in there.
Well, there we go. Those are all of the awards that we have for the season. They've been dished out, they've been handed, and I'll leave you a quick recap. We can let you know who won which award. Scout of the season was Thomas. Soldier of the season was Jackie Legs. Pyro was Yahoo. Demo went to Joanne. Heavy was Poker. Engineer was Clark. Medic was Gedu. Sniper of the season was Fundo. Spy was Mezzo. Debut of the season was Unforgiven. Best player overall was Thomas, with a caster going to CeeJaey. We have some new awards totals, I believe. I think Viethoofd can bring that graphic up for us so you can see how the rankings have changed, which players have jumped or dropped places in terms of most overall awards. We can see Thomas jumping onto the leaderboard there in joint 7th place, joining such legends like Credu and Emilio, Zaman, Dito, Dukka. He has the 2 awards from this season. Other changes are Gedu and Joan going up to 5th place with an extra award. Poker is now tied with Lazy Bear in 4th with an extra award. Mezzo and Yahoo joining Toast in 3rd place with 7 awards now each. And joining Steve in 2nd place with 8 awards is Clark and Jackie Legs, who picked up 1 each here as well. So some changes, some people climbing up the ranks, and who knows how that will change in the coming seasons, which is something we can quickly brush on here. Players, chime in whenever. I'm not going to point any fingers at anyone, but plans for next season, anyone returning and deciding to take another crack at Prem in season 23?
There's going to be a Russian team of some variety, I suspect.
I'd imagine.
And I'll probably be with them, I imagine.
How's it been actually playing with the Russian comms and stuff?
Oh, it's a ball. It's a roller coaster.
It's everything in us, or whatever it is.
Yeah, everyone speaks in tongues. It's great.
Yeah,
love it.
Good atmosphere. I don't know what's going on with. I don't know. There's going to be some probably roster changes. I may not be with Envision. Probably not. Envision probably doing something with Sting and Tertio, things like that. I imagine SDCK is not really changing that much.
Yeah, we'll keep playing. Bocker had to quit, unfortunately, due to some real life issues, so Sandwich is going to come back to play heavy. But otherwise, we don't have any changes.
Pizza will be coming back pretty much the same as well. I think it just depends on like if Fundo wants to play or not. Where the rest like that, like Redwood and stuff, and I'll probably play.
Yeah, because I know Pizza Place gone through like a couple people, but it's looking more like the original Pizza Place now, isn't it? Sort of. So that's.
Yeah, towards the end of the season, we had original roster. It's just the start. Like I had to play demo for a while till Redwood came back and stuff.
CeeJaey, any strong opinions?
Totally
not.
Well, I don't know. Who knows? Who knows? Never say never. Never say never. Crazier things have happened. Unlikely, but it's all right. I like talking over the games at the moment. I'm playing
the fabled SDCK versus strong opinion show off.
Well, it's good to know that there'll be plenty of teams returning for next season. SDCK will be back to defend their title. A Russian team of some sort will be representing and Envision, and Pizza Police will also be back. Just want to give thanks to everybody for showing up today. Thank you for coming in and talking about the awards. Thanks to everyone watching, and of course, everyone who voted for the awards. You were the only reason we're here. If no one had voted, we wouldn't have had any awards to give. But congratulations to all of those who actually did win an award. And congratulations for putting your name on ETF2L history. We do have some short plugs to talk about, as there is more Highlander action to be covered on Critscast. No more ETF2L for the time being, but there are UGC playoffs happening, so we will be going over that in the coming weeks. Every Monday, there should be a game on Critscast at some point in the evening, as you can see the graphic right now, showing all of the people who've done casting for us over the season, and of course, the people who don't get heard or even seen doing the production in the background. Artrhythm and Wiethoofd doing an amazing job all season. Other things that are happening in terms of TF2, we do have the rest of the ETF2L Season 37 Sixes playoffs as they are going on. Prem playoffs still going on to see who is going to win at the top position. And of course, playoffs in other divisions as well will most certainly be covered across TFTV and Critscast. There is also going to be on Critscast TF Connect on the 11th, 12th, and 13th of December. So mark your calendars, where we're going to have some big names from the European and American communities. Some big YouTubers will be playing against each other in sixes competitions, as well as many, many other events going on. It is a charity supporting special effect. You can go to tfconnect.org to find out more information. And they will be live on Critscast during that weekend. There will also apparently MVM with YouTubers, interviews, showcases, and fun times for charities. And of course, we all do love fun times. But that is enough talking. Some of these gamers have scrims to get to, as they are avidly practicing for the future. Doesn't matter if you've just won a season, you need to keep practicing, because who knows who's going to be just behind you. So once again, thank you for everyone for joining. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you next time on Critscast.